And this is the Express fight to finish after there was tempers flaring between Eddie Howe and Mikel Arteta. A penalty shout for Arsenal late on, but held by Newcastle. Scoreless, but Arsenal go 8 points clear at the top of the table. And this is the no way through. We're emphasising Newcastle's defence, the meanest defence in the Premier League. The back page of the Express. Let's talk about the Arsenal-Newcastle draw. David, as a man who's covered a lot of Arsenal, was this a positive result, a negative result? What's the assessment from your end?
I think it's a fair result, Ed. I don't think Arsenal will be too disappointed ultimately with the point. It takes them a little bit further ahead of Manchester City, although they have the chance to close that gap against Chelsea on Thursday. It maintains their unbeaten run. They could have won. Probably didn't do quite enough, although they'll feel harshly treated on those penalty decisions. And Arsenal are set fair. They knew there would be bumps in the road. They knew this title push, bid to finish in the top four would not be smooth the whole way. They do have some really tough fixtures coming up. So, of course, they would have hoped to have picked 3 points up tonight, especially in the Emirates Stadium. However, I think what it reiterates, Ed, is that they'll look to do some business in the January market. They need, or they want, a couple of players. It's been quite well documented now. Mudryk, who you talked about there, with Chelsea. Chelsea are monitoring the situation. I don't know if they will beat Arsenal to it. Let's see. Mudryk has been quite clear in stating his desire to join Chelsea. And then João Felix as well, they would like to sign on loan. They're not the only contenders for him. Manchester United are keen, and none of the interested parties are prepared to pay the money that Atletico want at the moment. So we'll see. But Arsenal didn't have a lot on the bench that they could bring on to reinforce their side tonight. And that is something they're well aware of. And that's why they're trying to make moves, backed by the Kroenke family, to kick on in this push for the final 6 months of the season.
Jonathan, let's consider the back page of the Express now, just to reflect further on this. Fight to finish. There were tempers flared there between Mikel Arteta and Eddie Howe. Did that give a little inkling of perhaps the side of both managers, urbane in their presentation, that perhaps we don't see, that there's a passion that burns beneath both men's exterior?
Well, yeah, certainly. I mean, it was a really hard-fought game. I thought it was a really high-quality game, actually. But there came a point I guess about sort of 20, 30 minutes in, where it looked like Bobby Madley was maybe in danger of losing control of it, or certainly the cars were flying and the tackles were flying. The thing that would, I guess, the point I would make about this is that the thing, you know, the great quality of Arsenal this season, and actually for quite a while under Arteta, has been their calmness, their evenness under pressure. And tonight, what I think we saw from them was a little bit of, I don't know, like, you know, Arteta kind of raging on the touchline, the fans getting a little bit angsty in the stands, you know, people bickering at the referee. And I just wondered slightly whether they got a little bit het up a little bit too easily. And I wonder how that will bode for the white heat of a title run-in, which I guess, you know, even though we're not quite halfway through the season yet, we have to say that Arsenal are really legitimate title contenders. And that the whole thing through the Arteta era has been trust the process. You know, results will take care of themselves. We are building something. When you're in a title run-in, results are basically like they're the only currency that matters. And so nights like this are actually quite an interesting. You know, the 2 points drop aren't going to be a massive thing. Arsenal were on, you know, they're so far ahead that they can easily make up those points later. But it's the insight that gives us into their state of mind, and you know, it doesn't tell us anything conclusive, but it was quite an interesting insight, I think, into how quickly they started to lose their rag when things weren't quite going their way.
Yeah, and Newcastle take points off the Emirates, first team to do that in the Premier League this season. Are they going to hold on, though, David? What's your sense? We're running out of time here, but is last season still in people's minds fresh, the capitulation when top four was there for the taking?
No, I think this is a different Arsenal side with substance. They've built nicely over recent years. They've recruited well. They've recovered from Arteta's job being under threat, at least in the public eyes. It certainly wasn't behind the scenes. And this will be the test, as Jonathan says, how they react to a little bit of adversity. I remember when Arteta went sort of toe-to-toe with Jurgen Klopp on the touchline at Anfield last season in one game. It was on the Amazon documentary. And then his team seemed to lose their composure as a result of, or maybe it was influenced by that, and Liverpool won. How Arsenal respond. They lost to Liverpool at home last season, and then they went to Aston Villa when they seemed a bit depleted. Everybody thought, oh, this will be really tough, and they came through it well. So I've been intrigued to see if they managed to hold on.